This video is called Barbies, Childishness, and Evil. I'm going to put it in a way that is very simple in the first 5 minutes. Then I'll cite the Hagakure, and I'll cite Fighting for Honor. And I caution you about taking a functionalist or Western or American propaganda stance to try to combat these obvious and sacred truths. First of all, demons insult people more than words can be said, right? People who have taken on a demonic nature. Okay. And to say that it is wrong to highlight what they're doing in a way that is chastising and rebuking them and perhaps insulting them, right, is taking the devil's side of the debate. Actions speak louder than words. All these horrible things that are happening in the world and all these privileged ninnies who are denying their part in it, in order to save face, okay, have no right to then turn around and say, he's insulting us, we should punish him. That is childish. That is like a little girl who, killed another little girl and took her Barbie from her and made a cute little playroom. And then she's mad when you say that she should be punished and have her Barbie taken away. It is bitch shit. It is perhaps the essence of bitch. And keep in mind, Pluto, who's another, who's compared with Hades, basically another form of Hades. His name means the rich. The rich is beneath the earth, right? In hell, okay? So they're the rich, and it's their blood money, their blood diamonds, etc. Let's first look at the word girl really briefly. The word girl and gear L are connected. Why? Because a little girl likes her little toys, her little Barbie, her little tea set, okay? And her argument is, my Barbie is better than yours. Can we then look at the adult argument of calling black people the N-word, right? Which is a play on words for no gear, and it means ignorant, right? And of course it has to do with Nigeria, the heart of Africa, the heart of the black race because of the population and because of the martial art order, and the most superior black people are found there, mentally, physically, and otherwise, at the highest level, if not the average as well. Okay, so basically, the people who look at it this way and say, well, I have this big old gun. Well, I know a huge bunch of bikers or something, and we would kill you, right? That is a little girl argument. It is morality and dedication to true honor and martial arts principles that makes one a man. When we look at the martial art principles, it is disgraceful, evil, and dishonorable to live in a world that does not have the divine order, which is a martial art order that ends with me. Some martial arts were, in Japanese martial arts were basically derived from the martial art of protecting the pharaoh. They evolved into protecting one's master and doing his will, etc. So now let's cite the Hagakure, okay? The heart of a warrior, okay? If you don't connect the heart to the warrior spirit, you're an idiot, okay? You're just a fucking dumbass. And no one, you should die immediately because that is beyond stupid and evil. Losing the warrior spirit. I pretty much agree with everything that is said here, and I'll add to it momentarily. The physician Matsukumame no Kaion was once heard saying, in medicine, men and women are treated differently according to the balance of the yin and yang and have a different pulse. Certainly brain function, the female brain, testosterone, and other things prove that there's some truth to this. Anyway, over the last 50 years, I have seen these differences disappear. After noticing this, I began to treat men and women's eye diseases the same and found that what worked for one worked for the other. After applying a woman's treatment to a man and seeing noticeable improvement, I began to understand that men had lost their warrior spirit and had grown feminine in these last days. I kept this discovery to myself. Now, most people who don't know about the human body don't understand that there's some truth in what he's saying. Okay, think about when you get angry, how you act. Think about how testosterone relates to anger. Okay, there is some truth in the different physiology of men and women, regardless of how much he has this to a science. That needs to be said before some cowards with the Barbie side of the debate, the devil side of the debate, say some bitch shit that dishonors them further. Take a look at the men today. It seems that most of them have a woman's heart. There are very few true men anymore. Keep in mind when this was written. Okay? It is easy for a strong warrior to gain the advantage these days because so few have any courage at all. Okay, another reason why it's dramatic than on the top martial arts. Let me read that again. It is easy for a strong warrior to gain the advantage these days, right? Obviously in martial art combat, because so few have any courage at all. This loss of the warrior spirit, right? Core zone, courage, right? This loss of the warrior spirit is easily shown by the fact that men today cannot even behead a convicted criminal with his hands tied behind his back. These men today avoid kashaku and seek clever ways to get out of their duty as a second during seppuku. 40 or 50 years ago, matatuniki was considered manly, and a warrior was so ashamed to show an unscarred thigh that he would scar it himself if necessary. A warrior's work is hard and bloody business, and many times the only way to achieve an end is to lay hold of a situation with determination. Today, men are afraid to take a stand. They only offer idle chatter and avoid any difficult commitments. This is to their shame. Young people should be aware of this. Okay? They're afraid to take a stand. Hey, this is no small thing. This is the warrior spirit. This is what it means to be a man. Okay? He's saying the reason why they're acting feminine is because they're losing the true warrior spirit, which has everything to do with taking a stand. He brought up how they see things, their eyes, metaphorically, symbolically, and otherwise. He says there's very few true men anymore, and it's very easy for a strong warrior to gain the advantage. When you see the people in Hollywood, with all due respect, being idle and not taking a stand and not obeying the top martial artist and not acknowledging that the hero is the true master, truly, they are not taking a stand, and they are setting a point of reference that is false. Okay. So again, I tell you, in martial arts, when you look at the true principles, it is disgraceful, evil, and dishonorable to live in a world that does not have the divine order, the divine martial art order. Okay? And some of these martial arts were designed, with the idea of protecting the pharaoh. Okay? What happens if you fail to protect the pharaoh and your martial arts are still around? You live in a state of disgrace, now don't you? That's what these martial arts were really for. That's the source of their power. That is the essence of these martial arts. Protect the pharaoh. So when we look at the Christianity, and the Hagakure also touched on Christianity, we see the crossroads, the seven seals, the seven sins, right? The Navy SEALs, the knave, right? The villain, seals. Why? Because they've taken the gear argument, the girl side of the argument. They said because the Navy has been trained scientifically and otherwise to use gear, that they are superior to the pharaoh at the Navy SEAL level. Right? This is the message. This is the action that they're communicating. Right? When they don't go public and say, we are not the epitome of manhood. We are not the essence of being a man. The martial artist is. When they don't do that, and everyone sees them as the essence, certainly they've taken the girl side of the debate as far as their actions. Contrast that with my 10-year plus effort to correct you on what it means to be spiritual, to have profound spiritual knowledge, and to be a man. And I've been talking with females about rape for a long time. I say, why don't you punish the rapist? Why do you allow yourself to be disgraced and don't lift a finger to stamp out rape? Why don't you get to the core of the issue, which has a cultural core, which touches on martial arts and manhood and being a woman? A real man, okay, does not rape a woman when he isn't under mind control or something. Okay? Now, even the mind control we see on the masses certainly doesn't cover it. I will allow for a single individual who has been drugged intensely and technology used on them, because I know this is real, to do something they wouldn't otherwise do. But the masses of the people, no. Okay? But ultimately, a real man takes a stand, and he understands, a true martial artist understands what to stand for. Again, a real man takes a stand. He has the courage to take a stand. And a true martial artist knows exactly what to take a stand for, and that is the pharaoh, because it is disgraceful, evil, and dishonorable to live in a world that does not have the divine martial arts order, and also not to obey pharaoh. Martial, meaning to order, to arrange. So we look at the Barbies. The Barbies also role play to pretend you are better than the top martial artist, or that you shouldn't obey, to take on a role in this Western culture or any other culture. is that child playing tea time. Hey, you are the guest and I'm the host. Here's some tea. You want some tea? You want some tea? Here's some tea. You know, it's childish. It's evil. It's childish in this particular way that is evil. Okay, so they're taking the Barbie side and the devil's side of the debate versus the martial artist, the most dedicated, honest, true principle possessing martial artist side of the debate. That it is disgraceful, evil, and dishonorable to live in a world that does not have the divine order. It is also disgraceful, evil, and dishonorable not to obey the top martial artist because he is God's representative and the source of power. How much more when it is painfully obvious when he's black? When he's black, which is what we would expect when we look at people's mind, bodies, and souls and we're being honest with ourselves. How much more obvious it is. This guy comes from where all of humanity comes from. Okay? By default, even if he's 5'2" and in a wheelchair, we must take his challenge seriously. Think about it. When it is apparent and his dad makes every other people's parents pale in comparison as the most morally successful brain surgeon on the planet, my goodness. This guy came here without a penny as a refugee, worked his way up in Detroit, when Detroit was the murder capital of the country. It is apparent. Nobody from his generation compares to him. Just like when it said that it is easy for a strong warrior to gain the advantage. Okay? It is easy to see that this guy is miles above everyone else from his generation. Okay? There's no comparison. It is apparent. Obvious. Obi vie as someone as a martial artist telling the truth. It's obvious that that's what the man would vie as. What else would he be? Some soldier taking orders from a government they go on and on about how corrupt it is? You're taking orders from the essence of dishonor. It is apparent that this guy wouldn't be in the military. It is apparent that he wouldn't be a Hollywood actor. It is apparent that he wouldn't be confined to one system. It is apparent that he would make the arguments and he'd have an open challenge. It is apparent that he would use YouTube. What better way to communicate his challenge? It is obvious. Even the word action, A-C, shun. Men of actions use the alpha C, which is a martial arts perspective. Horus, hero. Heros is the master. Okay. So we look at what it means to be alive. Evil, rape cults, and rape cult energy support, cheating, insulting all of humanity, any humans there are, and defying God, among other things. It is the opposite of my argument is defying every martial arts principle in its true form. Truly determined. Determined to do what? Truly dedicated. Dedicated to what? True honor. Honor as reputation, or true honor as serving the highest principles of righteousness and obeying Pharaoh and honoring his position. My goodness. This is not being the top martial artist here to come to these conclusions, nor is it brain surgery. Nor is it being sabotaged and still being the top martial artist and still standing firm. Anyway, we get to the end of fighting for honor. A man without force is without the essential dignity of humanity. What force are we talking about? A man without the Spirit of God is the truth here. Thus, fighting ability under the right circumstances provided exceptional individuals with the force to demand dignity. Even the less fortunate who were killed in their attempts to defend their honor died fighting as proud women and men. True pride, if they are truly doing it for the divine order. Both they and the more successful claimed their bodies as their own. Those who resisted the dishonor of whipping disarmed their oppressor of the essential means of physical discipline. Their resistance ideologically rejected their status as mere cattle objects and proclaimed their authority over their own bodies and their will above that of their enslavers. Okay, you are allowing yourself to be put beneath rape cult, childish, evil, Barbie-like, Barbie playing like girly devils. If you don't resist in pure truth, then you put your will above them. You're below them if you serve them, and you're just as bad as them if you're doing it for principles other than restoring the divine order. As seen through the experience of Frederick Douglass, this can lead to a profound psychological empowerment and an affirmation of their human dignity. Capoeiras outwardly displayed a similar inner pride through their distinctive dress and bold walking swagger. And they defended proudly defend such mastery with kicks, headbutts, and blades, right? Striking. Okay. So we see the action, right? And no I, ka is the evil side of taking action.